The Honest Truth with Benito Vergatini on Smile 90.4 FM.
Welcome back to the conversation. We're now chatting to Mantsadi Sepheka from the Human Education Trust. Mantsadi, good evening and welcome to The Honest Truth.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here.
No, absolute pleasure. I'm quite curious to find out, firstly, the Human Education Trust.
Yes.
What do you guys do?
Well, basically we are an animal awareness organization and there are a lot of facets to the trust itself. Animal Voice is one of the magazines that we use as a tool for our campaigning and educating and information about animal awareness through education, essentially. But the focus that one of the campaigns that we're busy with right now is the Stop Long Distance Live Transport to Slaughter. So on the 14th of June, which is I think next Thursday, if I'm correct, it is a International Day of Awareness to stop live transport, and basically it's a global campaign where a lot of countries are involved. There's actually a website dedicated to this, where a lot of countries are involved in different campaigns. There's protests, there's pickets, there's marches. I think a lot of organizations are just trying to make people who make big decisions aware of what is happening, because a lot of people are not aware of what is happening here.
No, the first time I came across this, in fact, was this evening about the campaign Stop Live Transport to Slaughter Day.
Yes.
And you had mentioned that this this particular trade has been happening for 25 years.
It's been happening for a long time, and there are bigger organizations who've been fighting this fight for a long time, and so have we. I mean, we're much smaller than some of the organizations that have been fighting this fight. It's been happening for around 25 years, and the focus here is the sea. I know there's live transport road, but we are focusing on the sea, basically. And the focus we have, because it's a global campaign and there's other vessels that travel across the world, from the biggest ones are from Australia to the Middle East. And we have our own issue here in South Africa, where we have last night the Galloway Express left from East London Port to Port Louis in Mauritius with around 2,500 livestock. We don't know if it's cattle, we don't know if it's sheep, but it's always farm animals, essentially. And, we are just campaigning to try and make this, to abolish this whole, practice, because what we found out is that the trip that the animals have to take is a torturous one. And we are trying to figure out how it makes sense. You take a well-groomed animal from a farm, you place it on a truck to go to the port in East London. It gets placed on this vessel to travel for 9 to 12 days. Now remember, it's not like, you and I traveling on a cruise ship and we are comfortable in our seats. We're talking about, 2,500 livestock on a vessel, but they're packed. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos. I mean, I'm happy to send them to you, but they're quite gruesome. Any of the videos where it shows the sheep, the goats, and the cattle, the way that they're packed on the ship it shouldn't be happening. And the videos that have come to light are pretty gruesome, where you can see that the animals don't have air. Obviously, the temperatures are either very cold or very hot, depending on the season, especially the ones traveling from Australia to the Middle East. I mean, it's soaring degrees. Not enough food, not enough water. They're basically sitting in their own excrement for 9 to 12 days, and some of them, hundreds of them, die along this journey, and it's torturous.
It's a cruel practice.
It's a cruel practice, and essentially, after posting on social media over the past few days, people are saying, "Is this legal?" So you have to ask yourself, how is this happening? And not many people are aware that this is happening. And what we are saying is we're trying to stop this altogether, because why? In this day and age, I mean, technology has advanced hugely over the past few years. Why are we transporting healthy animals to make them suffer, to arrive in a horrible condition, to be slaughtered, instead of, animals on a hook. If you really must have meat, have it in a different way.
How many countries are involved in this practice?
Oh, well, it's a global thing. So, I mean, it's difficult to say because the information is so limited. They're not, you phone the harbour masters, you phone the people who are doing this, and they're very vague with any kind of explanation as to why this is happening, where the vessels are going, why, it's all very vague. So the information we have is very little, but what we know is what we receive from all, talking to the people that we've managed to speak to. But a lot of the people who are involved don't really want to say much.
What is South Africa's position?
Well, right now we have engaged with government. I mean, with government, I'm talking about we have the IFP who are backing our endeavours. They're actually going to be issuing a press statement in the coming days, supporting what we do. And the hope is to ask government to amend the Animal Protection Act, to abolish this practice completely, because I understand it is the meat industry and we're up against a huge machine here, but the fact of the matter is this is a cruel practice and it has to stop.
How much money are we talking about?
We could be talking billions. Billions. I mean, if you think about how much meat humans consume on a yearly basis, I mean, with South Africans alone, it's alarming. And the need has become more. There's more of us on this earth than there's ever been before. So the need is there, and we don't understand why it has to be in such a cruel fashion. If people must have their meat, can it not be done in a different way?
From the pressure that you guys have applied on authorities, relevant ministries, what has been their response and their feedback to this?
Well, it's open for discussion.
Okay.
It's open for discussion, and it's not going to be a fight that we win overnight. I mean, it's like anything that you're trying to come up against that involves people's money, that involves a lot of red tape. But it's a fight that we have to keep on fighting as, all animal awareness organizations, because at the end of the day, we're fighting for the animals here, for the rights of the animals, because it is a cruel practice, as we said.
Is there any clout from an animal organization's point of view that they can initiate some sort of prosecution? I'm thinking about the December 2016 judgment for the national NSPCA.
Yes.
Anything coming out of that particular judgment?
As far as I know, I mean, from that case is that they lost that case and they are still fighting, and they've been doing a lot, and they have massive resources, and we respect that they've been doing a lot in trying to abolish this. But like I was saying, for a lot of us, it's a huge fight that we've been fighting for many years. So, from what I understand, the NSPCA is going back to the courts to carry on fighting this, but they do monitor the ships, when they do go out to sea, but it's still not abolished. And what we are saying as the Humane Education Trust is that this must come to an end.
Is there any thought of taking this, for example, to the Constitutional Court? Would there be any chance of success there?
Well, the Constitutional Court in 2016 actually, in a full bench of judges, ruled that, that animals, it was a unanimous judgment that acknowledged that the animals have intrinsic value as individuals. So that is a huge win for the animal rights organizations, or for animal rights.
Yes.
But in terms of this, going to the Constitutional Court is costly for small organizations like ourselves. But we do hope that it does get that far, because this ruling has already happened.
That's what I thought,
Yes.
reading about that it just provides that particular framework and maybe some precedent.
Some precedents, exactly. So we have taken exactly this judgment to political parties like the IFP who are backing our endeavor, to say, listen, the Constitutional Court has said this, and we really appreciate your backing our endeavors, but we need to do more, and we are yet to meet with the IFP to decide on a way forward. But for now, they are backing us, and we hope that we can get this to the Constitutional Court. completely abolish it.
What are you guys intending to do on the 14th of June on the Stop Live Transporters Slaughter Day?
Well, we have been ahead of the 14th of June. We have been campaigning,
Okay.
and we'll continue with our campaigns, social media campaigns, as long as it takes. Because the 14th is just the actual day of awareness, but it carries on. It's like any kind of day of awareness that we have in the country or in the world, where it shouldn't just be on the day that you focus. You should focus wholeheartedly to make people aware of what is happening. So we'll carry on with our efforts in campaigning to ensure that people are aware of this practice.
And how can people be made more aware and possibly raise their voices against this?
Well, we've actually lodged a petition on our Facebook page, which is compassion.za, and as well as on Instagram and our Twitter feed at CIWFSA, where you can sign the petition and be part of the change that we're trying to create here, because the more we have voices, the more we can stop this.
Absolutely. In terms of the ships that you guys monitor, particularly on the East Coast to the Mauritian leg,
Yes.
What do you guys do around that ship in terms of increasing pressure to stop the practice?
Well, we, as I was saying earlier, we're a small organization compared to organizations like the NSPCA, who have the resources to have people to actually be physically
Yes.
there to monitor.
Yeah.
So from our side, we create awareness with our campaigns, with our petitions, and we come to people like yourself and who are not aware of the practice, and having your listeners understand that this is a cruel practice. And social media is powerful, as you know. Once you tell people about something so extreme, they come on the bandwagon and they ask questions, and we engage on social media platforms.
Being at a global campaign, has there been any headway so far?
Well, overseas in the UK, as far as I know, there's been a lot of pressure put on lawmakers and decision makers to actually do something about this. As far as I understand, I think in New Zealand, they've managed to abolish it or almost in that direction. So it's a slow process, but it's getting there.
All right. And then lastly, just to reiterate, Mantsadi, where can interested parties find out more, and where can they sign those petitions?
So on our Facebook page, they can just go to www.facebook.com/compassion.za.
Compassion.za.
Yeah.
And then just follow the relevant information links there.
Yes, correct.
Fantastic. Mantsadi, Sepheka, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Benito.